Hello, my name is Mrs. Bolle, and I'm a teacher at Heartland. And I brought a book to share with you that's one of my favorites from a very special children's author called Tasha Tudor. And it's called Pumpkin Moonshine. Here's the cover of the book. Sylvie Ann was visiting her grandmummy in Connecticut. It was Halloween, and Sylvie wanted to make a pumpkin moonshine so she could put on her bonnet and started out for the cornfield to find the very finest and largest pumpkin. The cornfield was on top of the hill, quite away from the house, so Sylvie took Wiggy for company. The hill was very steep. It made Sylvie and Wiggy puff like steam engines. When they reached the field, Sylvie looked among the shocks of corn for the very fattest pumpkin. Way across the field, she found such a fine one. It was so very big, Sylvie couldn't lift it. So instead, she rolled it across the field just the way you roll big snowballs in wintertime. But when Sylvie and Wiggy and the pumpkin came to the edge of the field where the ground sloped down into the barnyard below, the pumpkin began running away. It leapt over stones and bushes, bumpity bump bump, faster, faster down the hill with Sylvie and Wiggy rushing after it. It frightened the goats. It terrified the hens. It enraged the geese as it tore into the barnyard at a truly dreadful speed. But worst of all, it bumped right into Mr. Hemmelskamp, who was carrying a pail full of whitewash. Oh my. It didn't stop till it hit the side of the house, ker-thumpity bumpity thump. Look at Wiggy. Sylvie Ann was a very polite little girl, so of course she helped Mr. Hemmelskamp to his feet before going after the pumpkin. She apologized to the goats and the poultry too. Then Sylvie went to her grandpop and told him what happened. So he came out and cut the top off that runaway pumpkin. Sylvie scooped all the seeds and pulp out. Then Grandpop made eyes and a nose and a big grinning mouth with horrid crooked teeth. It was evening by then, so they put a lighted candle inside the pumpkin to make him look as fierce and horrid as all true pumpkin moonshines should. Sylvie and Grandpop put the pumpkin moonshine on the front gate. Then they hid in the bushes to watch how terrified the passers-by would be at the sight of this fierce pumpkin moonshine. They had a wonderful time. Sylvie Ann saved the seeds. Next spring she planted them. The vines grew up and ran all over the cornfield with lots of pumpkins on them, just waiting to be made into pumpkin pies and pumpkin moonshines to please good little girls like Sylvie Ann. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. It's one of my favorites. And I have questions for you. What would you do If you hurt someone, like Sylvie Ann accidentally did, have you ever hurt someone and found it hard to apologize? I do, but I try, especially when it's an accident. What could be a good thing to say to Mr. Hemmelscamp if you were Sylvie Ann? Finally, have you ever carved a pumpkin moonshine? I usually call my carved pumpkins jack-o'-lanterns. How about you? I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you enjoyed the story. Goodbye.